Good morning. Chrissy and I are honored to be here this morning, and we're impressed that so many people show up early on a Friday morning. I always feel like when John is up here with a microphone, that the same way you felt the first time you gave your 16-year-old the keys to the car. You're pretty sure this is going to work out okay, but you're really glad to see them come in the front door. Where is he? Seriously, John does a wonderful job, and I'm really grateful to have him on our team. I can't be in the Franklin Theater without, John mentioned several folks, but without mentioning my friend Aubrey Preston, who's had so much to do with this. Where is Aubrey? I know I saw you here earlier. I hope you're still here, Aubrey. Oh, yeah. We are grateful. But we're here today for an event that we hope raises awareness of Keep Tennessee Beautiful Month and encourages participation in Keep America Beautiful's Great American Cleanup. Let me tell you two personal stories. The very first nonprofit board I was ever on, 30 plus years ago, was the Knoxville chapter of Keep America Beautiful, Keep Knoxville Beautiful. And it was incredibly enlightening for me to understand how impactful that organization could be in encouraging individuals to get involved. So you would think it would come natural to me that about 25 years later, when I was the mayor of Knoxville, Knoxville's on the Tennessee River, and I was out, my office was, the mayor's office is right there, so I was out running one day, and after work, and I'm running, and there's three teenage boys, and they're walking across the bridge, and they're about 30 yards ahead of me, and one of them throws an empty Coke can off the bridge. Well, kind of react like this, it kind of makes me mad, so I kind of run up to him and said, "Hey, you guys stop that. You don't need to be throwing your Coke cans in the river." And they reacted by saying, one of them says, "What's it to you, buddy?" Well, I should have been trained enough to explain, hey, here's why keeping this river beautiful matters. Here's what your one piece of litter can do, along with all the other folks who litter, to ruin that. But I didn't. I was tired, and so I just reacted the only way I could. I said, well, because I'm the mayor. And one of the other guys goes, "Yeah, right, buddy." I'm in shorts and a T-shirt and sweaty face and all, and then the third guy looks at me and goes, "Dude, he is the mayor." He said, "You better go get your can." And so he did. But the reality is none of us should have to play that card, just to remind folks how important it is to keep this place that we love beautiful. The Great American Cleanup runs from March through May. It involves an estimated 3.9 million volunteers and participants across the country. Last year in Tennessee, 14,000 volunteers from over 600 different communities participated in the Great America Cleanup in Tennessee. It's a great example of how public and private partnerships can work, and it happens because people love the place they call home. I love that former Mayor Schroer and Mayor Moore, I know would agree, thinks that this is the most beautiful town in Tennessee. You're supposed to feel that way about where you're from. And the reason that the motivation when people feel that way is they want to keep it that way. And that's what we're here this morning, is that Keep Tennessee Beautiful is dedicated to ensuring that the beauty that we love in Tennessee is here for our children and grandchildren. And I'd love to introduce my wife, Chrissy, who's going to add to that.
All right. Well, thank you. It's great to be in downtown Franklin. I just don't get here enough. But this is a special day, and for this special day, we have a wonderful proclamation to read. I'm going to read most of it to you, just to give you the gist of it. State of Tennessee proclamation by the governor. Whereas Keep America Beautiful is the nation's leading nonprofit that brings people together to build and sustain vibrant communities, and has established the Great American Cleanup as the nation's largest annual community improvement program that harnesses the power of over 4 million volunteers to build vibrant communities. And whereas Keep Tennessee Beautiful seeks to educate and rally Tennesseans to take responsibility for improving their community environments during the Great American Cleanup throughout the 95 counties of Tennessee. And whereas the spirit of volunteerism is alive and well in Tennessee, and we value citizens' participation in community improvement projects, and whereas Keep Tennessee Beautiful since 1983 has served as a state resource center for litter prevention, community greening, and recycling and waste reduction education, Therefore, we do hereby proclaim the month of March 2014 as Keep Tennessee Beautiful Month in Tennessee and encourage all citizens to join us in this worthy observance. I want to thank Commissioner Schroer for letting me be part of this. I don't get to do a lot of things with him in his job, except the last time I was with him, we got to christen a ferry boat. So you never know what you'll get to do as the First Lady, but very glad to be here. And now I know Bill is going to thank a very special person who's done a lot of work. I'd also like to add my thanks to what he's done as a former Memphian, Memphis girl. It means a lot to me as well. So.
Chad, great, and welcome to Tennessee. And we're in appreciation for everything you've done to keep Tennessee beautiful. Chrissy and I would like to present you with this certificate, making you an honorary Tennessean.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Now, the really.
Thank you.
Now, the really good news is you get to be a Tennessean and you don't have to pay any taxes. So.
Perfect. All right.
But now we love what you've done, and we love the fact that it shows that one person really can make a difference. And we're incredibly grateful for the work you've done and for the fact that you're here this morning to continue that. So on behalf of 6.5 million Tennesseans, thank you very much. We are honored to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. Oh, don't forget your coat. Well, you got to get your coats. Live TV is always a tough thing. I forgot to do one thing, which is probably the most important thing that I could do besides introduce my wife. I need to introduce and recognize our sponsors to this great event. So I think we've got something there. Look how I love magic. So we do want to, and I'll read them as I'm supposed to do. Keep Tennessee Beautiful, the Heritage Foundation of Franklin and Williamson County, way to go. University of Memphis, which is a great partner of ours in doing all this. We're proud to have you there. And they do such great work. I don't want to elaborate, but with TDOT and the stuff that we do and all your stuff on transportation. Waste Management, the Moonshine Inn, which is a fabulous place, and the Progracki stayed there last night and I hope they had a great time. Harpeth River Watershed, the Franklin Theater, and of course, TDOT. So we're glad to have you. Thank you all for your support. Now, you saw Chad just a minute ago, and I want to, about 2 years ago, I was asked to go to Memphis and to listen to a program. I go to lots of programs. It was a chamber or a Rotary Club or something like that. It was early in the morning. In fact, it was like 7 o'clock. It's like almost this early in the morning. And so I sat down, and this young man came out, and I've never seen a more hyped up young man in my life. And he told a story. I'm not going to tell you what story because he's going to tell you. But he's a little bit like, no, I'm not anything like him. I'm pretty hyped up. You can multiply me by about 1,000 and you'll get Chad Progracki. But I listened to his story, and you're going to hear his story, and you're going to be touched by what one young, hyped up, smart, humble person can do. And so I went up to him and I said, if I can help you do what you do, I'd like to be able to do that. And so not long after he got me out, if you can see, working in Memphis at the Lake McKellen, and this hardly tells you how bad that lake is. It receives all the runoff, the storm sewer runoff from most of Memphis. And that's where it goes before it goes into the Mississippi River. And as the tide ebbs and flows, all the garbage goes up on the edge. And we were there for a day, picking trash and listening to his story. And it is a fabulous, fabulous story. He is a great young man. You will be enthralled by what he does. We are a proud supporter of his, and I always say it's the Living Lands and Seas. I always get it wrong. And Tammy, would you stand up? This is Chad's wife. She, like my wife, knows how to keep us maybe a little bit calmer than normal. I'm honored to introduce a great young man. Chad, you come out here, and then I'm going to say one thing. So he has also been nominated, is the CNN Hero of the Year, which is Now, I've got to tell you something. You, I think, were nominated the year before as well because, and I know this is true, he doesn't know this, but he was nominated the year before and CNN called me. And I talked to him for about 35 or 40 minutes and you didn't get it that year. You got it this year. They didn't call me this year. I don't understand how that works.
I don't know.
One thing, and then I'll shut up and let you have the stage. One thing they kept wanting me to say, and I wouldn't say it. It said, does Chad think he is a hero? And I said, no, I don't think he does. And they kept wanting me to say that. And I said, Chad is one man who's trying to do the best he can to do something. And he would never think about that. And so here is CNN's new hero here, since I wouldn't say that. But we're proud to have you. Thank you for being an honorary Tennessean.
No, it's awesome.
He and I are going to be together on Tuesday in Memphis.
Yep.
And you are in for a treat. Welcome, Chad Progressive.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. This place is nice. Wow. It is really nice. The green room, I mean, I've never even been in a green room, but it's really green. It's really nice. I didn't even want to come on stage. It's so nice. I just want to chill out in there. It's, wow. No, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. And so many people to thank. And just like the hospitality since we arrived yesterday has been, I've never been any place like it. Like, everybody's been so cool, so nice. And, you know, I guess people, I think in general, think of Tennessee, they think of Southern hospitality, great music, and beauty. And definitely, I've experienced all of that in the last 13 hours I've been here. And anyway, I just want to throw that out. And Ann, where's Ann? Right there. Boom. Loving it. Man, Missy. Yep, front row. That's what I love about Missy. She's always front row, right here. Always want to do that. I've never really had a front row. And then there's actually people in the balcony. I love you guys, my biggest fans up there. Thank you. Always wanted to say that, especially a place like this. And the sound system, I heard, is like the best in the world. So I'm kind of glad, because no matter what I say, I'm not going to suck. It's going to sound good. So it's going to be awesome. Tammy, my wife, I love you. Right there. And then the commish. Yeah. Hey, I really do appreciate, like, you know, there isn't too many people that come up and say, I want to help you out, and actually do, and you and your staff, amazing. And then it wasn't like, you actually got out there and got dirty, and I was really impressed with that. Like, it wasn't like, and then done. Okay. You know, I've seen it. I've worked in D.C. I've seen it 1,000 times. Like, you were getting after it. It was awesome. But anyway, yeah. So I just want to say again, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here, and it is a truly honor. I've had a lot of great honors, the CNN thing, everything, but just meeting all of you guys is an honor within itself, and then have an opportunity to tell you about the mission I've been on for the last 17 years I'm just an honor within itself. But I want to tell you a little bit about the Mississippi River. I'm not really into facts, but after the CNN hero deal, my mom told me that I need to step up my game, and so I'm like, okay, I'll throw some facts in there. I don't even like facts. Facts are boring, okay? But I need to do this for my mom. So here we go. I'm going to try it out. So the Mississippi River, it's obviously one of the most famous rivers in the world. It's, it's over 2,300 miles in length. It drains 31 states, 2 Canadian provinces. It's a migratory flyway for 40% of all the birds in North America. It is an amazing place. I mean, from the boreal forests in Canada all the way to the cypress swamps in Louisiana, the diverse change that happens all the way down. I mean, it is fantastic. You look at historically, it helped build this great country in every way. From the steamboat era to modern day, it still serves a major shipping artery. I don't know how many tons are shipped up there, so I'm gonna leave that blank. I could have probably made something up. 70,000 million tons are shipped up there, whatever. I don't know that, I forgot it. But anyway, I mean, it is an important place. It really is. And fortunately, I've been able to grow up on it. I mean, I'm just so thankful that I had the opportunity to grow up on it. Didn't realize how valuable it is and how lucky I was till that. One thing too about the Mississippi River is, I don't know if you guys know this, but more babies were conceived in the river than any other river in the world. Folks, I just made that up. I have no idea. I just totally made that up. Threw it in there. No, but it is an amazing place. But anyway, I was fortunate to grow up on it and tell you a little bit about my background and how I got into cleaning up America's rivers, and obviously how you're a huge part of it. I grew up right on the banks of the river, and when I say right on the banks, my parents' house is from here to the screen away. Spent a lot of time on the river, fishing, playing, swimming, and when I was 15 years old, I got into commercial shell diving with my brother. Commercial shell diving, if you don't know, clamming, which Camden is not too far away, which was the hub of commercial shell diving. And actually Camden is the reason I had my job in the summer. And I was a clam diver for 6 summer seasons. I was doing that with my brother. And clam diving, if you don't know what that is, that's spending 8 to 10 hours a day on the bottom of the river in the summer months. And that's what I was doing to save money. That's how I was making money, go to college, and once I was in college, to stay in college. And basically, you're down there for 8 to 10 hours a day. On the bottom, it's pitch black down there. It's a very sketchy operation. OSHA there's nowhere around on this one. Okay, you have a mask on. You have an oilless compressor with a go-kart engine pumping air down through a garden hose down to you, and it's in the boat. And you're the anchor for the boat, so you got about 80 to 100 pounds of lead around your waist. Early June, there's a lot of heavy current, so you're putting on as much lead as you have. And you get down there and you're scrambling. You got a basket around your neck. You drop down. You never know how deep it is. We never had a depth finder, so just drop down till you touch, and you're flying at that point. And then you sort of just scramble to get a footing. And you're getting ripped down the current of logs and rocks and mud. And then all of a sudden you get your hold. You let everything settle in. And then you just start crawling upstream, and you're feeling for mussel shells. Again, it's pitch black down there. You can't see anything. Once you grab a mussel shell, you put it in a basket till you get about 100 pounds or more around your neck. And then once that's full, you take that off. You send it to the top. Ultimately, those shells were sold for the cultured pearl industry. And anyway, a lot of those clams ultimately went through Camden and to Tennessee and then over to the Far East for the cultured pearl industry. Anyway, so I did that for 6 summer seasons, like I said, and my brother and I were doing that, and basically we crawled about 150-mile stretch of the river, not every inch of it, but we crawled a lot of it from Fort Madison, Iowa to Dubuque, Iowa, and that's what I was doing in the daytime, save money. And then at nighttime, we weren't staying in hotels because we were working 75 miles north and 75 miles south of my parents' house, so we would just camp out on all these islands. And that's really the beginning of when I started to see how trash the Mississippi River had become. And anyway, one stat that I didn't tell you was that, there's 937 towns or cities along its banks, and 18 million people get their daily drinking water from it every day. And I learned that fact way back when. And anyway, got to camping on these islands. And the Mississippi River is like a big national park to me. You can camp out on all these different islands. There actually is 7 national parks that run through. It either runs through or along its banks. So I was thinking, man, this is like a big national park. And I'm starting to see all these sites that are just trashed. And I'm like, this, you wouldn't expect to go to Yellowstone or some of the other places in the country and see this. This is ridiculous. And all these people are drinking the water. And so I'm 17 years old at the time. And I finally decide one day after coming back from shell diving, there's a barrel pile right by the entrance of the marina, and all these people are hanging out, and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna clean it up. And so originally I tried calling the state, and I called the state of Illinois, and I called and called and called. And again, I'm 17, I don't have a lot going for me, whatever. But all I know is there's a problem, I want to do something about it. After 4 years of calling, I'm thinking, these people are in Springfield, Illinois at the state capitol. I'm out here in the river. All I need to do is show these people, okay? So I took all these pictures of all the barrel piles and just trashed islands and everything, put about 70 pictures together in a portfolio, was getting ready to go back to the state, made a poster about clean up the river and all this. Getting ready to go back to the state. Had a lot of people tell me, no, who are you, kid? What garbage are you talking about? And no, we don't have any money for such a project. Then I thought, well, you know what? I'll tell you what, I'm gonna show them. I had all those pictures. It sounds crazy, but the whole river cleanup operation and organization was started from one thing, all right? Sounds crazy, but it was from a NASCAR race, okay? I'm walking through the living room, got all these pictures, getting ready to go back to the state, show them, walking through, and all of a sudden, the guy wins the race in the NASCAR. He does all these burnouts, and everything. Gets out. He's got all these sponsor patches on and puts a sponsor hat on, starts talking about his sponsor. And I'm looking at him, thinking a lot about this cleanup, and I'm thinking, I could wear patches. I'll get a sponsor, okay? Company to sponsor a race car. They'll sponsor river cleanup. Be good for the country, good for the river, good for the people. It's a positive deal. So where I'm from, it's 3 main industries. I'm from the Quad Cities. There's Alcoa, there's world headquarters of John Deere, and they make Case IH tractors there. So I'm thinking Alcoa starts with an A, boom, I'll start there. Looked them up in the phone book, picked one of the 50 different departments. There's thousands of people that work at this place. I just picked one, called them up, got some random lady on the phone, said, hey, my name's Chad McGracky. I want to clean a 435-mile stretch of the Mississippi River. I was wondering who runs the show, who's in charge there, him or her, whoever it is. I want to talk to him or her. The lady on the phone is not feeling it. She's not going to put me through the top person, I'm going to tell you right now. She's not. Now, anyway, after begging her and not taking no for an answer for like 10 minutes, she's like, fine, I'll put you through to Mr. Wilkinson. I'm like, great, okay. And anyway, so she did. And then right before she puts me through, she's like, but don't tell him who put you through. I'm like, no problem, okay. She was scared. Now I get it, but then I didn't. But anyway, it was beginner's luck because his assistant wasn't there that day. He answered the phone. He's like, Wilkinson, and his first name was Tim. I'm like, Tim, hey, how you doing? Clean up for road, live right up from me. I want to come on and talk to you, and I just need 10 minutes of your time. Got all these pictures of garbage, and first person I talked to just got this idea, saw a NASCAR race, blah, blah, blah. And he's not feeling it. No. Tries to stump me, okay? Tries to stump me. He's like, well, do you have a budget? I'm like, no, but my mom works at a college. She deals with budgets all the time. I can get a budget, whatever you need, man. I just need 10 minutes of your time. And he's like, and then, he's still not feeling it. I'm like, listen, man, I'm going to stalk you and wait by your car. I'm coming over there, regardless if you see me or not. I live 10 minutes from you. I'll be there. And then he's like, all right, well, are you 501c3 tax-deductible not-for-profit organization? Sir, I have no idea what that is, but I can be that man. Listen, I just need to show you these pictures. And anyway... No, and when I was talking to the lady on the phone, I said 435-mile stretch, right? I didn't start out with small intentions. It's a Mississippi River, needs to be cleaned up. No one's ever cleaned it up before. I wanted 6 people to help me. I wanted 2 workboats. I want to start right on the St. Louis Arch and work all the way up both sides of the river, including all the islands, about 1,000 miles of shoreline, okay? So, anyway, Mr. Wilkinson's like, he's like, he's going to see me, okay? 10 minutes is all I need. He's like, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. So I'm super pumped. He's like, Thursday, come on in, 11 o'clock. No problem. I had long hair, tucked it up in a hat, went in there, had all these pictures. And the first thing I have to do is sit down and watch a 7-minute Alcoa safety video. Now I have 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, here it is. This is I start showing him all these pictures. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And he starts showing him barrel piles and everything. That's my dog. That's my boat, flipping through. And, I'm looking over him, and he's like, get back. Get off me. Anyway, here's what happens, though. He starts to get into it. He starts to realize, like, this is what it looks like. I'm like, this is a few pictures, like, from a few places I've been. Like, this is not the scope. I'll take you right out there and show you how. But he doesn't want to get my boat or anything. But he's like, okay, I can see. Anyway, 10 minutes, whatever. He starts to get into it. And I'm like, he's like, I can see real merit in this. I honestly had no idea, and I don't think a lot of people do. And I'm like, yeah, it's the Mississippi River, man. Everybody knows it in the world. This is what it looks like. It's time for a change. I want to do something about it. He's like, I'll tell you what. Because he asked me to bring a budget in, right? So I brought the budget in. He's like, how much does it cost? I slid the budget over to him. He sits back in his big chair. He's like, $77,000. I'm like, that's what budgets do. They add up. I'm telling you, gas, oil, insurance, disposal was the biggest thing, okay? And but there's no money in it for me, zero. But I had to pay the other 6 people, not very much, but that I wanted, the workboat, $77,000. He sits back. He's like, yeah, I can't do 77, but how about 10? I'm like, 10? He's like, yeah, 10,000. I'm like, 10G, 10 minutes, you got the deal. You know, I'm super pumped. He's like, sit down, settle down. So I sit down. He's like, one condition, you go back out and raise the rest of the money. And he, no problem, be back on Monday. Yeah, that didn't happen. I tell you what, the next 6 weeks, I called and called. I called everybody there was a call. I was calling Nike in Seattle. I called them all. I called and called. No one would talk to me, you know, whatever. But I don't blame anybody at the state level, anybody from the company. I'm at that time, I'm 22 years old. I've never proved myself, let alone done the biggest cleanup that's ever been done in the history of the Mississippi River, never led a crew. I didn't know that going for me. It's like a clamor kid, okay? So I crawl back to his office, basically. I'm like, sir, I don't know why you're interested in this, but I can't get anybody to even talk to me, let alone sponsor it. He's like, I'll tell you what. You go back, write me a budget for this, you going out there and cleaning up, and I'll tell you what, I'll help you out, okay? And I'm like, great. I'm super pumped. I go home. My mom helps me write a budget, $8,400. Went back. Was not 501c3. Just said open a bank account, a credit union or bank, whatever you want, and just start working. Great. Now, great timing on this. I mean, this is the best. Has anything ever happened serendipitous? Like it was just the best timing? You met somebody because of this or that? Has anybody ever had that happen? Yeah. You should probably raise your hand even if it didn't, because it feels good to be part of something. I'm just throwing that out there. It's the greatest day I could have started when looking back. The day I started, what was so great about it is my parents went out of town for 2 weeks, okay? Well, we have our own boat launch. We live right on the river. We need a staging area for all the barrels and tires and junk. They were not happy 2 weeks later because the pile was half the size of, it could have like filled half this place. They pull up, they're not excited. But here's what happened in that first 2 weeks that is still, it gained so much momentum right off the bat because of it. People started seeing me out there. They asked me what I'm doing. I told them, as I'm digging this barrel, hey, it's time for change, whatever. And they thought it was great. They called the media. The media started calling my parents' house. I wasn't checking their answer machine, so when they got home 2 weeks later, it was full of all these reporters locally that wanted to do a story. So I'm like, okay, And anyway, my parents are like, you need to call these people back. And I'm like, no, I'm not calling them back. I don't want anything to do with them. And it was my parents who convinced me I could show people how neglected the river's been in the past and what I'm trying to do about it. It'll help the cause, it'll help the mission, right? So against my better judgment, I'm gonna listen to my parents for the first time in 22 years. I'm gonna call the media back. I did. Newspaper comes out, they do a story. The story was, I didn't like the story, okay? I was super embarrassed. It made front page Sunday. It had me driving the boat with bib overalls on, no shirt on. It was love affair with the river, okay? My friends are calling me, nice pecs, pal. It was a bad deal. I was super embarrassed. I didn't like the story. Personally, I didn't really like it. I thought it was sensationalized, cheesy. My parents liked it. But you know what? I didn't like it, but the rest of the country did. And what happened was they sent that out in the AP, and the next day, CNN's coming in. They picked it up. They're coming in from Atlanta. Fox News is coming in from Chicago. Anderson Cooper, when he worked for Peter Jennings at ABC Worldwide News, is flying in from New York. They got another crew coming from Denver. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'll pick you up at the airport. We'll go out pick some garbage up. I didn't think it was like the late breaking news, but great, you're all coming in. I'll do it. That's exactly what I did. Now, folks, I'm going to be honest with you. When my mom told me to step up my game, I put a PowerPoint together too and completely spaced it. I forgot that I had a PowerPoint, so we're going to go through the PowerPoint before I go to video. My bad. Sorry. Mississippi River, bam. What? That's yesterday, McKellar Lake. I just going to show you some pictures of what I've taken in Tennessee here. Hope they're not shocking, and hope they don't bum you out. But I assure you, it's a positive deal. There's the next one. That's next. That's a slough in McKellar Lake, and it goes on for like a mile like that, okay? That's 12 foot of water, okay? It's so thick with garbage that the dogs will actually jump in and they fall through it. That's another one, and another one, and another one, okay? And I assure you it doesn't look like that right now, though, okay? Anyway, that's where I'm from. It's me as a kid. That's what the bottom of the river looks like. There it is, folks. That's really what the bottom of the river looks like. That's where I would hang out for 8 to 10 hours a day. See all the logs, current rips over it? I took that in the drought that happened when all the barges couldn't move up and down the river. I took that because people are always fascinated what's on the bottom. Obviously, you can see some trash, but it's more about the logs. That's what a clam's like, because the fish are there. There's a lot of oxygen. So that's where my brother and I would spend 8 to 10 hours a day on the bottom. That's my senior picture. And that's my brother. He still commercial fishes between Cairo and St. Louis. And again, that's that. That's my first boatload, super pumped up, and we're gonna go to the video. This gives you a better idea of cleaning up and how it started, and because it's a lot of physical work, as you know.
I'm 22 years old. My name's Chad Pagracki, and I'm from East Moline, Illinois. I grew up right on the Mississippi River. I mean, my house is, like 10 feet from the river, and I spent most of my time on the water. I have been compared to a modern-day Huck Finn by some, but I don't know whether that's true or not. Because I was living on the islands for the last 6 years as a commercial mussel diver, I saw trash and I was tired of living around trash, camping out. All the beaches were totally trash. Nobody was coming out to pick them up. So I thought, well, if I don't do it, who's going to? And this is the Mississippi, the largest river in the nation. In my opinion, the most valuable resource our nation has to offer. And yet it's been so neglected in the past and so, so trashed, and I think that it's time to be picked up. What I find out here is basically like a lot of barrels, tires, bottles, cans, mattresses for refrigerators, TV sets, everything you can imagine that'd be in a city dump, you find out here. Oh, here we go. But you know what? It's not going to miraculously go into a dump down river or something, and end up in a landfill. It's just going to go farther down the river. It's going to be in the river no matter if a flood took it here or what. And if it doesn't end up in the river, it'll end up in the Gulf. So, yeah, you got to love this little spot here. 25 years ago, it was bad. You just dumped everything in the river. That's just what people did, 50 years ago, it didn't matter. Oh, look at this. Are they full? No, unfortunately. Oh, no, I don't drink it. I usually just dump them out or leave them like they were. Oh, perfect. Second one I found like this year. Look at that. Boy, there's like a whole bunch of eggs here. It's pretty weird. Below the Quad Cities, and yeah, there's a barrel pile probably like 50, 60 years old, and there's probably like 30 barrels here. It doesn't take me long to fill the boat, really. Pretty heavy barrel. What? Oh, man. So I had to figure out a way to get the money to get paid, because I can't come out here and spend my own money and use my own boat, rig, it costs a lot. I've been able to do it because of Alcoa. They gave me an $8,400 grant to come out here, and that paid for all my gas, my food, my expenses, whether it be props, fixing my motor. I blew one motor up already, and if it wasn't for Alcoa, I wouldn't be right here, and the shores would still be just as dirty as when I started. And I picked over probably estimated 30,000 pounds of trash, 92 barrels, 156 tires, so the shores would just be the same as they were. The city of Rock Island let me put these dumpsters here, and then I can make 2-3 boatloads a day if I want. at that. Some of it's recycled, like all the aluminum is, all the barrels I've taken in, all the tires are recycled. Yeah, one man gathers where another man spills. That's what it is. Yeah, I guess I'm the gatherer.
So that gives you a better idea. Just starting out in 97. Thank you. Thank you. But what was great is now I had some video I could show people like what I'm talking about, and it really helped move forward. And keeping that original goal, 435-mile stretch, I got a crew together, 6. I built another workboat. I raised a third of the money that I needed, went down to St. Louis, right under the arch, super excited. Now, I'm the only one with river experience out of that crew of 6, okay? So we pull up to the arch, it's spring, windy day, sunny, beautiful. But what happens in the spring? It floods. And if you've ever been to St. Louis, I mean, it's geographically, it's a crazy place because you have the Missouri River, you have the Illinois River, the Missouri River, and the Mississippi all meet there, and when it floods, it floods. So we pull up, super excited. We look out there. Everybody's like, "We're not going out there, are we?" I mean, it's just swallowing up trees. It's just the most treacherous thing. And I'm like, "We'll die out there. We're not going out there." It's my first time ever leading anything, okay? And I had to go to plan B. I don't have a plan B, but I got to make it look like I had a plan B, okay? So I figured one river flooding is better than 3, okay? So St. Louis, we went 20 miles up. We went to a place, that island right there, and it's called Bolter Island. We set up camp there, okay? And for the next 9 months, 7 days a week, we worked straight through. There was no breaks, no nothing. I might have taken 2 days off the whole time, go see my family. That was about it. From the time you woke up, the time you went to sleep, it was work, work, work. Not to mention it was so overwhelming with the amount of stuff that accumulated. And everything was flooded, so you could drive right on the islands. It was just like literally a river of garbage. Barrels and appliances, just unbelievable. Little by little, we worked upriver, ran out of money. It was just a nightmare. But here's what I learned. Here's what I kept thinking. Biggest overall thing I learned that year was this is not going to be easy in any regards. From the fundraising to dealing with the crew to trying to get rid of the stuff. I mean, this is not going to be easy. And I was like, you know what? If I just accept that and just go with it, then that'll be good. Because if it was so easy, it would have been cleaned up a long time ago. And that still helps me out to this day. So, I told you it was a tough year. That's what we lived on until it started sank, and then that's always good to sink in on a Monday. It's a lot of fun. You should try it sometime, just sink it. The only good thing is about that particular deal is it sank in deep water, so we just kind of, boom, moved upriver. You know what I'm saying? That thing, it was going down, and we had to finish the year in a little 20-foot camper. Again, toughest year ever. Now, want to go to the Illinois River the next year, clean up, 273-mile stretch. It's going to be amazing. Wanted to go up there. Oh, did we get everything off the river? No. We did what we could with what we had. That's all you can do every day. And so, want to go up the Illinois River. Got all the way up. The Illinois River goes from Chicago, basically, down to St. Louis, and then pours into the Mississippi. Well, we got up to the south side of Chicago. It's been a tough year. Ran out of money a couple times. I had to take loans out. It was just a nightmare. Everybody had quit by that time. It's myself and one other guy. It's almost Christmas. I'm only going to tell you about this because it's a time when had no direction of where this was going, and I wanted to quit, okay? Just the worst time. I get up by south side of Chicago, the last 7 miles was the most disgusting place you could ever imagine, right? Because the Splains River and the Kankakee River form the Illinois River, and the Splains River comes out of the I&M Ship Canal. It sounds like shit, but it really sounds like something else. But anyway, because it's the gnarliest place I've ever been. I'm up there, and as far as you could see was nothing but basically barrels, tires, and then condoms, okay? It was straight up open sewer. So you got to think of the discouragement, working all the way up this river, think you're doing a good job, you get to the point where it's just unbelievable, okay? Now, it was so polluted, when you pull a tire out of the mud, it was so polluted with oil that it would just ooze up out of the mud, and it would just form a sheen for blocks down. Myself and one other guy, that's all that was left, we worked there for 3 weeks, and we didn't even dent it. And I'm like thinking, what am I doing? You know? Then I got to thinking of making a difference. And I know most everybody in this group makes a difference. We were talking about that on the way up, you know, when you wake up in the morning being pumped up and like having direction and all that. Well, then I didn't have so much, but I'm thinking about making a difference. I'm like, you know, every tire, every little bit, every boatload, we are making a difference. And there's not a lot of jobs you can wake up and be like, I'm going to go out and make a difference today. So I'm thinking, man, I don't know where this is going, but I'm going to take it as far as I can. Because all those people I've met that have said, good job, we drink the water, this is where I grew up, all, you know, saying, keep going, I need to do it. But if I'm going to do it, I need to do it better, a lot more efficient. The thing is, it's not efficient at the time. We got some people out there, we got some boats, they're going here and there. We're spending half of our time trying to get rid of the stuff. There's no recycling programs in any of these places. That's why the tires in the river, the batteries, the propane tanks, all that. So I'm thinking, all right, what if I had does anybody remember that New York Harbor barge floating around back in 1987, full of garbage? Raise your hand if you do. Yeah, okay, here's the deal. I don't care where you're at. If you ask somebody about that and they saw it, they remember this thing. Think about all the things that are a lot more important to you that you've seen on the news since then, but you forgot about those news segments. But the barge sticks in people's heads. I was 13 years old. I wasn't into barges or garbage, and I remember this thing, right? And I'm thinking, all right, I need a barge. If I could get a barge, that would serve a lot of purposes. One, I could serve as a floating recycling center. Two, what the biggest thing it would do is I could double my capacity to do more. I could put everything on there, unload one time a year, right? Instead of like every half week. So I'm like, okay, I could do more. I could spend all my time out there with the barge. But maybe just as important as that is the barge would serve as a focus for basically the mission to clean up rivers and how dirty it is. The barge would basically make a statement without me even having to say a word. And what I mean by that is I learned that from making small piles in all these small towns. Everybody come down, they'd look at that pile, they'd look at you. There'd be two things, sorry. I just went two. But anyway, there'd be two things. One, disgusted it just came out of their drinking water. But 9 times out of 10, they'd be super happy you're doing something about it and want to help out. So I'm thinking if I could take those smaller piles, put it on a barge or barges, that's what I need to do. Beginner's luck. I called a sand company in my town and got the government relations guy on the phone. Bob, his name was Bob Emler. I called him up. Bob, hey, I was wondering, this sounds crazy. And he had heard about me or whatever, he said. And I'm like, hey, do you have any barges I could have? And I don't know if you guys know anything about barges, but they're not like used cars. There's not tons of them. You know, you can't just, yeah, I don't know. No. He's like, did you hear something? I'm like, no, I didn't hear anything. He's like, you're calling me today, you didn't hear anything. I'm like, no, I just decided I saw your company going by my parents' house. You're local. I decided to call you, start with you. That's what I want to do. That's why. He's like, the owner just decided to get rid of 4 barges. We haven't got rid of barges in 20 years, okay? And we're going to scrap them out because he's not going to sell them to a competitor. I'm like, great, can I have one? He's like, I don't know. Give me a call back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks a day, I give him a call back. Bob, what's up, man? He's like, Chad, good news. You got the barge. Come on down here and get it. Super pumped, okay? I mean, I get in my truck. I'm like, yes. Halfway down there, I'm like, I'm scared to death. I have a barge. Like, it's bigger than this whole thing. Like, I'm like, what am I going to do? I have nowhere to park it. I have nowhere to move it. I'm you know. And he's like, well, you know, take it away. Okay. Good news, though, in this. My parents live right on the river, so I can just park it there. No. It's a long story. Wreck the dock. It's a bad deal. But anyway, so, yeah. No, but anyway, I need a barge. I got a barge, and then I wanted a couple more barges. I put a colonel and a major general, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, on the spot in front of about 400 people. It's the first time I ever got a chance to talk in front of a large group because I was thinking, they have barges. They got a lot of barges. And anyway, yeah, they weren't too happy with me. So what do you say? Can I have a couple barges? Yeah, they were kind of, going down in their chair. And then finally they're like, yeah, they weren't happy with me. But the next day I had 2 more barges. So it works well, folks. Just put them on the spot if you need something. Anyway, otherwise they're kind of slow. But anyway, got 3 barges. Now, I just want to show you or tell you real quick, and obviously most of you know this, but the thing I didn't know when I started this, I didn't know anything about barges or, you know, I didn't really know anything about cleanups. I just knew there was a problem, I wanted to do something about it. But the biggest thing I've learned is simple, and you guys already know it. But how many thousands of people care about our rivers, streams, and lakes, the environment in general? It's amazing. Like that CNN piece, laundry baskets of letters from all over the country. My mom would handwrite each one back saying what a resource the Mississippi River is, keep it going, keep it up. And then not only that, but locally, all these church groups, schools, environmental groups, whatever, wanted to come out and help out. So I put on one community cleanup. All these people came. And I thought if this worked, and it was great. I mean, people were excited. And what we'd done with their equipment is create an opportunity for people to go out there and do something positive, take back the river, I guess, right? So I'm thinking if it worked in the Quad Cities and hometown, it'll work all the way up and down the Mississippi River. So using barges as a focus, we started doing community cleanups. And I want to play the second video because this gives and captures the idea and kind of captures the whole thing. Yep, there it is. We're going to play it. I flipped it. Yep, nope, we're there. That's my first barge load. And we got a video. Here we go.
Given to a one-of-a-kind sailor who loves the Mississippi River, but who cannot abide a mess. Mark Strassman takes us aboard.
Oh, black water, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on? Oh, black water, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on?
Watching Chad Pregracke cruise the Mississippi River, you can't help but think, this guy's got it made. At 32, he spends his days going with the flow.
It's kind of like a living life force. It sounds kind of strange and hokey, but it's really not. To me, like the river, it represents like freedom, you know, and I mean, it's a way of life.
His way of life. No time clock, no bosses, no commute.
All in all, nice place to go to work.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, if you have to be there at 8, you just wake up at 7:50. Boom. There you are.
I'm at the office.
I'm here. How we doing?
It all sounds pretty idyllic. But before you offer to trade places, you should first know exactly what Chad does all day. He picks up garbage. A lot of garbage. Tons of garbage.
But this would be the garbage barge. That would be the recycling barge. We probably have, 3,000 to 4,000 tires collected. And then obviously all the refrigerators, the appliances, you know, water heaters, propane tanks, barrels. This stuff's from like a month's worth of work, just this stuff here. We've already unloaded 2 of these barges completely full though.
Oh.
This year already, so it's just, and that would be heaped, the entire thing heaped full. Anything that you would find like in a landfill or in a house, it winds up here.
It's a huge job. But what's truly amazing is, it isn't really Chad's job. He volunteered, or you could say, the river called him to it. He grew up in tiny Hampton, Illinois, with the Mississippi literally in his backyard. As a teenager, he worked as a clam digger and a commercial shell diver. And wherever he went, he found garbage.
It wasn't like I woke up one morning and said, the river's dirty. It was a lot of time spent out there in different situations. And the more I started to focus on it, I really was, this is amazing how bad it is.
So one day when he was 17, he decided to do something remarkable. Clean up the Mississippi River. One rusted barrel, one old tire at a time.
At the beginning, was it just you against the dirty river?
No, I just, it was me against that pop can or, you know, that barrel or that tire. I just wanted to do something and be able to see the results, you know?
And how long was it just you out there fishing stuff out of the river?
The first year, but I never intended for it just to be myself out there because I knew how much stuff had accumulated over the last 75 years or so, and I knew I could only make so much of a, you know, an impact.
So in 1997, he formed a non-profit organization, Living Lands and Waters. For the past 10 years, he and a half-dozen crew members have worked full-time, living off donations, cleaning America's waterways.
What are your priority rivers? Mississippi?
Mississippi is definitely our main focus. The Ohio River is a main focus. The Anacostia and Potomac, we work out there as well. The Missouri and the Illinois, those are kind of our main ones, and those are some of the bigger ones in the country.
Traveling from town to town, they recruit volunteers along the way.
Find a lot of interesting goodies.
See, I found a tire and a soccer ball and a propane tank thing. My thought for the day
is that if nothing else, I will never use another piece of styrofoam in my life, because I think I picked up about 8 pounds of just little tiny pieces of styrofoam.
With their help, over the last decade, Chad estimates he's pulled nearly 4 million pounds of garbage from America's rivers.
Let's do it. Let's load up and go on over there.
A recent Saturday morning found Chad in Burlington, Iowa, where 150 residents showed up to help. Curiously, all of them with the same first name.
Hey, how you doing, dude? Good to see you. How you doing? Thanks, dude. Hey, man. Hey, Chad. How you doing, dude? Dude, I know, dude. Representing, dude.
Jeff Bergman's with Iowa's Department of Conservation. He's worked with Chad on his stops here for the last 9 years.
Would this have happened without him?
Oh, no, not to this magnitude. You'll see a little cleanup. You'll see a little here, a little there. No, it wouldn't happen without Chad's goodwill. No, he's a cheerleader. He makes things happen.
It's kind of heavy, isn't it?
It's heavy lifting, but Chad keeps things light, turning every cleanup into a round of garbage barge poker. Best haul wins.
Like if we go out and you get 3 refrigerators in a day, like in a boatload, I should say, it tops any other boatload. But if you get 2 bowling balls, that trumps the 3 refrigerators. That's the inside. If you've never seen the inside of a bowling ball, the ice breaks them, I believe, because we find a lot of broken ones. We have bones here.
Okay, what's the deal story with this?
I don't know. It looks pretty, I really don't know. We haven't probably checked those out.
The barge the crew lives on is decorated with river serendipity. It's a floating gallery of found art.
Babies. What's all to do with that?
I don't know. Somebody on the crew started putting them up there, but honestly, we found literally thousands of dolls. That's just like within a couple weeks, somebody put that up there.
Are you still pulling the same sorts of stuff out of the Mississippi today that you were 5 or 10 years ago?
Some of the same sort of stuff, yes, but a lot less of it. A lot of towns we don't even go back to that we've been in the past because it's clean.
Between cleanups, Chad and the crew hold education seminars. So far, 1,500 teachers have become Chad's students.
But I think we really are having an impact through you guys.
And he's written a book about his adventures, which he hopes will inspire others as he was inspired.
I once read in a book that the earth is not destroyed as a whole. It's not just, boom, it's destroyed. It's piece by piece. And I think that's the same way that it needs to be fixed. It could be a tire by tire pulling out of the river, or a barrel, or whatever it is, little by little. It's the little things that really do add up. And if a lot of people come together and do those little things, it adds up to big things. So that gives you a better idea of using the barge as a focus. Thank you. So here's where the organization is. And obviously, I want to tell you how much you're a part of what we do every day out there. As far as the organization goes, let's talk about the operation. This is the only river cleanup operation like it in the world that I know of. We have 4 barges. We just added a crane. We have 2 towboats, and we have 6 of these work boats down here. And we go town to town, city to city, and we've worked on 23 rivers in 20 states. We've done 780 cleanups. We've had 70,000 volunteers come and help us out, and removed about 8 million pounds of garbage out of our rivers. And we continue. There's so many places to go, and so much more work to do. But there's 10 of us that live on that barge, and it's kind of cool. I think the name sums up the whole thing. You know what I didn't like about that video? I love the video, but it captured the spirit, but it was Chad, 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 Chad. And I'm just up here talking, but it's really the 70,000 people that have made the whole thing happen. And so when we went to christen the barge, I didn't have a name for it. And then I got to thinking, what name would encompass all of you, all the people that made this happen? And the best name I could come up with was teamwork. So that's what we named the barge, because that's what it's all about. Yep. And what's cool about it is 160 different union trades, men and women in 4 states, 7 different unions, as we went up the river, came out and built this thing for free. And the sponsors put the money, so teamwork fitted so well. It's solar, and it's made out of all recycled stuff. That's why I loved your place. It was awesome. Like I said, it's solar, and it's actually, the whole structure is made out of an old strip club that got flooded. Sounds crazy. I took it down. I stored it in my barn for 12 years, and then I put it back on the superstructure, and the union guys love that aspect of it. I don't know what it was, but anyway, Floating Recycling, it's an efficient river cleanup operation, serves as a floating recycling center, and coming to a river near you is certainly our motto and continues to be. And then we also, listen, as you know, that getting the river clean and keeping it clean is two different things. You have to add education in there. So Tammy started our teacher educational program. We've had 1,800 teachers out to our floating classroom. We had an old barge that one of the barge companies gave us, and it was really wasn't that nice. That's why they gave it to us. But it worked. For 10 years we lived on that, and we had a small classroom, ripped out some walls, did the education, 1,800 teachers, because if you can get a teacher inspired, you can get a lot of kids inspired. All those teachers that came wanted an opportunity for their kids. That's why we built this. This is the inside of it. Seats 60. So if you ever want to do an event or something like that on it, that's what it's there for. We'd love to have you out. Anyway, so that's that. And back to the river. So that's an operation. Here's the deal. I'm trying to think what I can say to you guys and my ending. And I know it sounds crazy, but Budweiser, I think, has the best slogan that I think fits of what all of you do in whatever capacity you're associated with keeping Tennessee beautiful. They just came out with a new slogan last year. It's America Made Better. And when you wake up in the morning, as we talked about on the way, that's exactly what you're doing. And in turn, you're making the world a better place. I know it's cliche and it's been used all the time, but America Made Better is what everybody in this room is doing continually, And I really appreciate your efforts. Nothing's easy, If you think, I joked around a lot up here, but that's not really what it took to get this to where it is or where we want to go, And as you know, nothing's easy, and change, as we know, is slow. It's like a barge, it's like a train, but it builds up momentum, and then it's hard to stop. And that's what I keep thinking about all the time, like change. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. So I'd encourage you, all those roadblocks, just keep going, I can't tell you how many thousands of things have come in my way, but just rolling. I don't have a great ending for you, because here's the deal. I've been doing this 17 years, but I feel like I'm just getting started. There's so many places to go, so much to do, so many people to meet, and I would encourage you to hopefully take that, and I know you guys are doing great work every day, and I would just continue, or just hope that you would go back to your communities and just make the world a better place. Just do as much as you can in the time you have, what you're already doing, and with that, I'm pretty much done. I think that's it. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Missy. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I don't know. I think we're done. I don't know who comes up here next, but yep. Hey.
You can, am I on? You can see why I was attracted to him a little bit. So thank you.
Thank you.
Real quickly before we get out of here, we've got a little bit of things to do, but I want Missy Marshall, who's somewhere, she was there. Hello? Okay, is going to talk a little bit. Come on up. Missy's our director of Keep Tennessee Beautiful, and she's got a few parting words.
First, I want to thank you, Commissioner, and all the staff at TDOT for all the support that they've given Keep Tennessee Beautiful. Some of you may not know this, but we celebrated 30 years in August. I started July 1st. I've had the distinct pleasure to work. I was working with the Haslam administration and with many of the officials here in this room, and I absolutely love this state. It's an honor for me to be the leader of Keep Tennessee Beautiful. We have people here that have come as far as we've got our affiliates. We are made up across the state of affiliate directors who lead the cause in the communities for exactly the kind of thing that Chad does. And we wanted this to be a pep rally of some sort. All of you are leaders in this room, And you might ask, what can you do? You know, what can you do? Even if you can't give your time, you can support your local. We've got Keep Williamson beautiful here. We've got Keep Sevier beautiful here. We've got the Nashville Beautification affiliate. We have a representative from Keep Murray County beautiful here. These are an example of some of the leaders throughout the community that work every day to keep where we live, beautiful. What we do is everything we do contributes to economic community development, tourism. It's so important. It's an investment. It's God's creation. It's the one thing that it's so important. Everything that you do, whether it's Senator Johnson, Representative Durham, you go up there, you vote on so many important issues. If we don't have this state and keep our main resource, what's all that worth? So I just want you to go out. The call to action here is whether it's sign up to volunteer for a cleanup in your community, or at least give a donation to your local affiliate. If you don't have an affiliate, encourage your town to become one. Be the change that you want to see. I just want to leave you with a thought, a quote from Winston Churchill. We make a living by what we do, but we make a life by what we give. So please go back, give to your communities, whether your time, your energy, your resources. Thank you for being here today, and I hope that you'll go out and make a difference in your town.
So we're going to excuse you all. Thank you all for coming. If Chad's story doesn't inspire you, nothing does. And one parting shot is whether it's picking up trash or whatever you're doing, what an example of you just have to put your foot in and start. And I guarantee you, if Chad thought today, if Chad knew what he knew today back when he started, he never would have started. And so go out and make a difference in your life, whatever it is. Make a start, and thank you all for coming, and let's keep Tennessee beautiful. Thank you.